Yes, I'm so excited to be here with you all today. I see some familiar faces, I see some new faces that I'm really excited to get to know. I currently serve on the board of directors for No Box Stands, and you can also find me behind this screen as a manager of community engagements for No Box Stands. And today I'm going to be the facilitator, for hashtag Meet the Makers. As we get started, we are doing our best this year to explore language accessibility. So today we have our team who can help translate as needed into Spanish, myself, and Korean, Yejin. So if there's any translation that needs to happen, it may happen on the chat or it might happen once we kind of speak. We have 1 hour scheduled and we will have 3 segments today. So I'm really excited to share those segments with you. First, we are going to be talking with some of our No Box Dance team and learn a little bit more about No Box Dance and the 2021 festival, Dancing Outside the Box. Then we have segment 2, questions with the creatives and makers of the official selection films. And for our third segment, we will play Quick Fire, which is a fun game that we created here at No Box. It starts with a little you can't really see it, but it's basically a bowl and a bunch of questions in there. And so I pick a question, I ask it, and you have to answer it in a flash. With that said, we at No Box Stands are on the traditional territory of the Kickapoo, Humanos, Tawakoni, and Wichita. By recognizing indigenous stewardship of the land, air, water we live and call home, we combat the invisibility and erasure faced by Native peoples. For more information, visit the link in the chat, which Marthea just shared, and she'll be our main person sharing all the links today. With that said, I'm really excited to hand it off to Marthea Nygaard.
Thanks, Raina, and welcome everyone. It's so exciting to see all of your faces, and I can't wait to get into the Q&A part and hear more about how you all made these films. I am Marthea, and I'm one of the co-creators of No Box Dance. I'm currently serving as the managing director, and I just want to thank you all for joining us today. I do want to take a moment and thank our other team member who can't be with us today. She's dealing with some family matters. But Azaria Hogans is our manager of resources and archives. So I just wanted to take a moment and thank her for all the work that she does for No Box.
Hello, my name is Yejin. Hello from Korea. I'm also another co-creator and programming director. Congratulations to everyone. We really appreciate it. We had a chance to share your beautiful, amazing arts. Thank you so much. Reina?
Thank you, Yejin and Marthea, for kind of sharing a little brief segment of what Nbff 2021 was and what it's going to be as you start the new adventure on Monday, Yejin, today. So that's really exciting. With that said, I'd love for us to go ahead and go around with the filmmakers. Filmmakers, I'd love for you to share your name, your pronouns, and the title of your work. And we'll post these questions on here. Again, Marthea is going to be in charge of that in case you forget. I'll tell you what it is. You'll share your names, pronouns, title of your work. In 1 minute, I'm going to challenge you to tell us a little bit about who you are in just 1 minute. So it's kind of that elevator speech. No pressure, no nothing, don't be shy, you're in a safe space. The following question will be, why did you make the film, or what kind of message did you have you wanted to share with the audience? And then with that, I'll ask that flash for fishbowl question. All right, so I'd love to go ahead and start with, let's see, Daniel Banks.
Good evening, everybody. What an honor to be part of this gathering. My name is Daniel Banks. My pronouns are he, him, his. They get a little fluid on a Saturday night, just arrived in New York City. Who am I in less than a minute? Well, I'm a theater and film director, and I make a lot of devised work, which is how we created the original stage production that Hamapa, the Map Dance on Film, was based on. Hi, Ananya. Oh my gosh. We're coming to Minneapolis in May. So great. I didn't realize you were here. And I'm a community organizer. And currently in Fort Worth, Texas, we're doing a lot of memorial activism and reparative justice work, reclaiming sites connected with violence, specifically violence against Black people, and turning them into memorials and centers for arts and community healing. So that's why why did I make this film? I made this film because 17 years ago tonight, Adam McKinney and I met at an Ethiopian Hanukkah party at the Jewish Community Center in Manhattan. And our first conversation was the lack of good and accurate and enough representations of people with complex and multiple and mixed heritage identities in the performing arts. And we were tired of having to choose boxes and check boxes and only be able to be half of who we really were. And so we wanted to create better and more representations of folks with complex identities. And that's what we've been doing for the last 17 years. And back over to you, Reina. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, really powerful films, and I'm really excited to continue seeing what you continue building and how you share it in different platforms and how it touches different audience members. I can say witnessing your film, it was really wonderful to see the response the audience had to it, and how they reflected upon it. If they had, we would always have little conversations right after the films just to kind of talk about their thoughts and ideas, and there was always curiosity behind all of it. So that was really exciting. Moving forward, we have.
I want to add
just
something.
shout out, can I just shout out Laura Bustillos-Jaques, who's on the call, who's the cinematographer and editor of the film, the third, of the collaborators, and just did such a stunning and amazing job and danced with her camera with Adam. She just danced her whole way through Benin and Poland and Montana and everywhere. So just big kudos to Laura here. And I know you'll hear from her for a second, but I had to mention her. Thank you.
No, I love the shout outs and I love the recognitions. Martha, you wanted to add a little bit to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to say what I really appreciated is that Morgana came out to the Texas feature film screening, and she actually hosted or facilitated a story circle and informed our audience about how DNA Works does story circles after sharing of their work. And I just personally want to thank you for creating that kind of community experience after a film screening, because I think that connected our entire audience in such a different and unexpected way. And I feel like we were just really able to sit in the work that you created and figure out how it can impact our lives and how to again thank you just for the care that you put into not only the film but the experience after. It was really beautiful, so thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Marthea. With that said, let's go ahead into our flash four, our big fishbowl question. Here we go. So I ask you the question and you fill in the blank. Dan's film is?
Oh, is this for me?
Yes.
Oh gosh. Dan's film is Life.
Yeah, let's give that a moment to kind of set in a little bit. Yeah, that's good. That's wonderful. All right, let's move on to our next filmmaker. We have Darren Johnson here.
Hello, I'm Darren Johnson. Listening Tree was our film, and this is Ananya Chatterjee, who's the choreographer. He, him, and
why'd you make the film?
Okay. We made the film because it was COVID lockdown, and we were just really focusing on all the neglected things locally, as opposed to flying around the country and big crews and everything. We wanted to do just something real simple. And this tree was a place we walk by very frequently every day. And we're like, let's just do something with this tree, you know, and show the timelessness of the river and, you know, something that was neglected that we walk by every day. So that's where that came from. Anything to add?
I'll just say I'm Ananya, she, her pronouns. I'm always fascinated and you know, fascinated is the word, with the sort of time-bound nature of performance. You know, we pour our heart, our souls into the dance. And as a live artist, I recognize its disappearance and its existence in our hearts only after that. So to have this moment of seeing, okay, let's settle into the moment via film was just a very different experience. The tree has been there forever. That river, the Mississippi, has so much history. And it just really sunk in, you know, as we were moving through the day. That was the only time when we were outside. In, you know, rest of the time was lockdown. So it was really something to make the film.
Yeah, I remember watching it for this first time and having like the sense of simplicity, but it felt so deep, so gentle, and very moving in many different ways. But it was just like enough to just kind of be like, whoa, this was everything I needed for that moment. And then because you were part of it, you were the mover in it. I really love this idea of, I don't know if this was on purpose, etc., but there was this of you blending, becoming one with the tree. That was so fascinating. And I remembered watching it and I was like, when I get to talk to you, I'll have to tell you this. Would anybody else like to share? Would you like to share a little bit about that?
You know, this is Dakota and Anishinaabe land, and the teachings are always about relationality. And one of the things I learned from Sharon Day, who's an important Anishinaabe leader here, she always reminds us that nature is our family. So, you know, and she taught us this notion of Zagi, love, and Zagi Dwim, like mutual love for the land. And so I just really was contained by the tree, you know, my spine lengthened against the tree. So I thank Darren for catching that moment, but it was really, I wasn't thinking of Sharon's teachings specifically, but they're in my brain, you know, they're in my cellular consciousness over these years. So
beautiful. They're still living inside of you. Yeah. And it was very well portrayed. It was lived, and it was very well shown and captured. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It was beautifully captured. So with that said, I'd love to ask you the following fishbowl question. Okay. What was the first dance you both saw?
Oof, that's a tough question.
the branches reached out and the roots reached down. That for me, sorry.
Yeah.
I just answered that because that's what I saw, you know, the sort of down and the reaching down and the reaching up at the same time.
Yeah, I saw just an extension of bringing the tree to life, I think, you know, being able to animate it more and bring it to life is all. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well,
I want to share one thing. Sorry.
Go ahead.
We screened your film Listening Tree as a part of our kids program as well. And this film resonated so much with the kids. I think it was something just about the calmness. And it was really interesting because after we talked to them And they're like, oh, I love it in the tree. It makes me feel relaxed. And I just wanted to share that feedback with you.
Excellent. That's
It
great.
was really special.
Yes. I want to circle it back. Thank you, Darren, and to you both for sharing all of that. But I would love to circle it back to Laura. Is that right? I would love for you to also be part of this. Again, name, pronouns, 1 minute challenge. Tell us a little bit about you. Would love to hear about you, and then what was it like for you to be part of creating this film?
Sure, thank you, Reina, and I'm so glad that Daniel Banks is here. My name is Laura Bustillos Jaques. My pronouns are she, her, and I have focused on making documentary films. I met Daniel Banks and Adam McKinney in El Paso, Texas, and there was an instant connection. And I'm just so grateful that they continued to include me in their very important projects. When they asked me to be part of Hamapa the Map, I said yes because I loved them. I love Daniel and Adam, but I had no idea what was in store for me. You know, while Adam was exploring his heritage through dance and our travels, I found that I was doing the same thing with my own heritage and my own ancestors. So that was really special. And every time I've had the experience of seeing the theater version of Hamapa, there's like a magic that happens. So imagine living in the production of Hamapa like nonstop. there was this constant magic everywhere we went, everyone we met, every place we were at. It was just so meant to be. I'm still a little sad that we're done with the production, but I'm happy that it continues this way, where we can speak about it and we get to further connect. So thank you so much.
So I'm going to kind of follow up what you just said. What do you feel like connections do when you're in a collaborative work like this?
Well, I think without connection, the project wouldn't be as powerful, right? So because we connected so deeply, I think the project has more depth, and beyond the project, there is something that happens in each one of us, right? So now Adam and Daniel to me are like family, and yeah, you know, I think that's art, right? Is the art of connection. So I'm just really grateful that Hamapa continues.
Very beautifully said. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I have that follow-up fishbowl question brewing. Let me see. So what I get. That's funny. You got the same question as Danielle. Dance film is?
Dance film is activation.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right, let's head to our next guest, Jessica Liu.
Hello, my name is Jessica, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. The title of my film is Buoyancy. Where am I? It is 3 a.m. in Mannheim, Germany. So I'm joining you right now in the middle of the night. So maybe this is why I'm a bit like, but I'm very happy to be here and to be a part of this festival. So this is really exciting. I am a professional dancer with the National Theater of Mannheim here in Germany. So this is what takes up most of my time. But yeah, and I let's see about the film. So I think like many other people during the time of the pandemic, we were thinking a lot about traditions and rituals as we were unable to celebrate holidays or life events in a similar way as we had in the past. And I'm originally from the United States, and so also being so far from my family and having travel bans, etc., like it was kind of forced me to think about, you know, what is the most important part of these rituals or traditions, and maybe what is more meaningful to myself as what is or as what do I do just as habit, because you know this is prescribed by society or my family or culture, this is how you do this. But in this period I really thought about maybe what is more routine, what is more ritual, what has more meaning to myself. And these mental explorations I wanted to turn into a physical exploration with dance, and also with my collaborators in this film as well. So what I hope to share through this film is also to encourage other people to do the same, to help them. I don't know necessarily help them, but just to have people think about traditions and for themselves and what is meaningful to them, and maybe understanding yourself more about what brings you joy or comfort or pleasure, or through these aspects.
Yeah, I think I'm so glad that you mentioned all of that, because I feel like many of us, you know, the pandemic is still kind of like lingering on, and we're not sure for how long. And so just to have a moment to connect and have that relationality with the meaning that you created with and through the film can be really, I felt that it was very impactful, and how other people took it in. And again, this goes for all the filmmakers and the films that were created. People were taking them in and really soaking it in a way that I think I haven't witnessed before. And I think it's because all of the films were really great, but where they were coming from, and this might sound cheesy, I think they were all very, very much heartfelt. The collaborations that were happening behind the scenes were also that way as well, but also everything was about connecting with what's on the other side of the screen, which is the audience. And so thank you so much for that, Jessica.
I also want to add one more thing. Sorry, Marcia,
okay,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I just
wanted to hear about the pools, but you go ahead. You go ahead, Yejin.
Okay. I just want to share our poster. I mean, here program, but this one, it's Korean for today's screening. But here it's from one of your scenes, Jessica. I think it's very beginning of your film. The dancers make this pose. And here, Natalia and Will, Cesar, one of your dancer in your film. So I just also want to share this poster with you, Jessica. I want to hear more about the reason about why you cast that location, because it's very beautiful location. Yeah.
Yes. So this location is Herschelbad in Mannheim. It's as you can see, like a beautiful Art Deco period bathhouse. And I think there are quite a bit of rituals with bathing and this type of practice actually going very far back in history. And so I thought, you know, why not a place where there is so much ritual and tradition, this kind of location, why not do something there? And also because this place is actually quite well known in Mannheim, but is the first time it has seen dance. So I think there have been some music performances there, but usually people just use it to swim. So I thought maybe in this time while it was closed to the public for because of the pandemic, that why not try a new activity there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, Marthea.
You asked the question. I just wanted to hear kind of more about why you chose that location, because I felt like that was such a huge part of the film. And in Dallas, we actually screened program C on, we created these installations. So we had different types of devices so that the audience could wear headphones and experience the films in that way. And I wanted to hear more because people kept going, we love the one with the pools after the screening. But you answered the question. It was gorgeous and really cool to witness.
Thank you. Yeah, it's super cool. And also, of course, this play on reflection and the water and the reflection. So yeah, I think that would be actually really cool to have it with the headphones to be more like you were in there. So that would be super great idea.
Thank you, Jessica. Well, I have chosen the fishbowl question. So we at No Box are always ask any of our those who we invite into our podcast, and so we want to ask you, how do you say no to the box? So how do you say no to those restrictions?
I think by being your authentic self. I think because bringing your own lived experience, there's nobody that has the same as you. And while there are many things that connect us, I think by staying true to yourself and bringing what you have to say and what you have to offer is the best way to do that, because yeah, there's nobody else that has the same voice as you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Heading to our next filmmakers, we have Natalia and Will.
Hello, everyone. We're happy to be here.
Hi. So we start with the
names, please. My name is Natalia, and my pronouns are she and her.
My name is Wilber, but you can call me Will, and my pronouns are he, him.
And we're both members of Proyecto Segundo Piso, which is our dance project, which is based in Puebla, but right now we're in different states, all of us.
And also our film was co-produced by Proyecto Segundo Piso and Coctelito de Video Danza, which is our platform to keep spreading dance films in different cities in Mexico and online.
And our film is called 3DT, which in English is 3 of T. Yes.
And we made this film in April this year, especially triggered by imaginations that we had in our heads and minds. And yeah, we just wanted to find this infinite, endless space where we can exist together and we can play and have a gathering to drink tea, and where everything can happen.
Yes, and since we're all in different places, everything was by distance at the beginning, and the only time we were together to film it was at the end with all the production. Yes.
And
I'm sorry for the dog. And our message to the audience was to see all these kinds of personalities and colors and experiences that we can have through the screen, to seeing these relationships between the performers and feel it like you could be there, you could be that someone dancing on the screen.
Yeah, having a space where you can go inside the you can see from the eyes from someone, but also you can be part of the full gathering and respect this self-perspective and this diversity that each of us have inside us.
Mm. Well, I have to say, absolutely a fun film. And if you were curious if people were going to be interested in drinking tea with you, they were 100% in that space drinking tea with you. I have to say, it was fun, bright colors, you had confetti, it was abstract, it was different. And I think everybody that took it, I think there was one person that said it felt like a roller coaster because it went through multiple different emotions in the film, but it all came down to coming together and having tea. So that was something really exciting to hear. Also, please, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. Again, I just want to bring that up. You have that available to you. And so I just kind of wanted to do a follow-up question real quick to you both. Why the vibrant colors? And then it was such a closed space. And so I was curious about that as well.
One thing that we always do when we work together is that our imagination is based on the colors we see, like the colors that got our attention. So we're always like, okay, we can use this color and this one. And then I don't know, it all came to the things that were near us and the things that we love using colors in our jobs or so in our work, sorry. So I think that was one of the main things that we wanted to keep our essence in with the colors.
And as the process continue, we also discover that each of us, according to our personality, we also have a favorite color.
So it was very personalized in that way.
And we wanted to respect that as well.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I have to ask you both two different questions with our fishbowl questions. Ooh, this one keeps coming up. I think I call this the John Cage method. I just kind of pull something out and whatever it is, it goes. So Will, I think social media does blank to the dance world.
Does people get inspired?
Okay. Natalia, dance film is?
Dance film is limitless, maybe?
Or not?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I have a couple of questions that came up on the chat directly to me. Daniel, what was the process like when choosing the locations that were chosen for the film? It wasn't just one, it seems like it wasn't just one location. I got to experience the talk back a little bit about that, but it seems like some are curious about that.
Sure. So, well, the locations were chosen because they connect to Adam's family. So they were all locations that Adam's family either came from before being in the United States or lived in when they came here, from both his mother's family from Eastern Europe and his father's family from West Africa through the Middle Passage. But as far as the specific locations within those cities, they chose us. I mean, we knew that we were going to go to certain places, like the synagogue that his ancestors prayed at, or the cemetery where they were buried, both his father's family in Arkansas and his mother's family in Poland. But really, there were so many places that we had no idea existed, and we would either drive by it, or we would read about it, or someone would tell us about it. And it was a real consensus. I mean, when Laura talked about the I mean, there were 3 directors, there were 3 cinematographers, there were 3 editors. I mean, it was a real it was almost, we had a hard time limiting each of us to like one title, which was something that we needed to do for Film Freeway or whatever. But really, it was a co-created production, and I think each of us had a flair on a location, and we were like that place or that place, and that's how it went. I mean, they really just chose us.
Yeah. I can tell you, based on witnessing it as well, that a question that came after I watched while there was the facilitation happening, I think there was one thing, because of the different locations you have and the subtitles for all of them. I realized, I was like, I know my family, but I really don't know my family. And I just, it was just so, it was like awakening for me. And I was like, I want to go to my mom's house and I want to ask her everything that has to do with my heritage, the land that she grew up with, which is Chihuahua, Mexico. And so it was just like, even before the facilitation, I was thinking that. It evoked that for me. So yeah, it's really wonderful hearing you talk about what was the process like and choosing the locations and how much you learned from them. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Any other, other audience members that may have questions?
I have a question to Darren. I translate every title in Korean, and I translated listening tree, and it's 나무를 듣다 in Korean. And English is not my first language, so when I see or hear it, kind of words, but when I translate that in Korean, it's more like I feel more connected. So when I translate listening tree in Korean, it's 나무를 듣다. It's very poetic. And I don't think I ever say about this, like connect those two words together. So even like just translating title before the description of the film, I feel very emotional, especially now in Korea. So I want to ask you, what did you listen while you're shooting, or what do you want us to listen? We talk about the three parts, but I wonder that part, the listening part.
Absolutely. There's just a wealth of sounds, and there's a wealth of life around there, from just the songs of the waters to the birds. There's owls down there. There's eagles. There's just all kinds of sounds. So that was kind of the intention of it, is just to, start out almost as a joke, is, boy, if this tree could talk, think of the things it's heard down there, and so to imagine not only what it's heard, we talk about listening, but also the sights. I mean, that area floods in the spring, so every third year that tree is underwater, and then there's a drought and it's way up high, and you wonder where the water comes from for it. So, the landscape is always changing, yet it endures through all that. So, but very much we listened to it, and we spent a lot of time in that spot before we shot and after we shot, just quietly listening there, and trying to imagine also different seasons. It's Minnesota, so there's snowstorms there, and it's always changing. Every time you go down there, it looks different. The sand is different depending on how the river's flowing and everything else.
Cool, thank you. Like Reina said, it gave me time to relax and meditate it. And I think that's one of that's why I love dance. It's not just in the technique, but also the directors and also choreographers give me time to look back and give me time to think about the present. Yeah. So thank you.
Excellent.
Thanks for sharing your
Excellent.
spot.
That was our hope.
There's another question that came up on the chat for Darren. How much of the sound of the wind influenced the aura of your performance? Oh,
of the sound of the wind?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And it was it was not that windy of a day there, but oftentimes it gets very windy there. So I would say if we had come a different day when the wind would have been stronger, it would have been a different performance. You know, also a different time of day. It might have been more lively if we were there right at dawn. We shot kind of late afternoon, and you know, and also the time of day makes a big difference too, you know.
Yeah, I do think it was so much of the movement was about feeling the density of the air passing through my fingers. That was very much part of that.
That's beautiful. Before we bring it to, I'm going to slowly start bringing it to a close. I want to be mindful of y'all's time, especially 3 a.m. And I just want to share how lovely this is, because we're all in, whether we're in our houses, etc., we're all in different locations, and it's really wonderful to connect with all of you guys today. And the fact that some of y'all that don't know each other are here to connect, and some of you that know each other and just, you know, randomly connected on a Sunday night again. So that's really wonderful and beautiful. Any questions? Okay. All right. So before we end, I'm going to throw us a little curveball. I would like to invite our audience, and we can go one by one, just end this meeting with a question. Dance film is important because it can blank. So I'll repeat it again. We'll go kind of around, and I'd like for our filmmakers to share first before the team does. Dance film is important because it can blank. So anybody who feels evoking any type of anything first, please feel free to go.
Stage and bring us in connection with the physical environment around us.
Hi. Dance film. Sorry, dance film is important because it can tell the stories that might not be told.
Dance film can wait. Dance film is important because it can
bring fantasy into reality and vice versa.
Dance film is important because it can increase accessibility.
It's important. Oh, sorry, please, Nestor, go ahead.
Dance film, it's important just as much as the Library of Alexandria was important. Is one way for it to reach as many people as possible, and they can absorb the information, only the information that they need and nothing more. Because sometimes some people may get information but not be able to comprehend the message from that idea. And through this form of art, can be you can absorb what you need. Yeah, that's what
I think we were thinking similar thoughts, although I thought you were giving us a dance film. I love the sound and the movement, and beautiful. I think it's important because it can encourage abstraction and abstract thinking. And I think that abstract thinking is the antidote to capitalism, because we're not selling anything. We're connecting to heart and spirit and soul and nature, our internal nature, as well as our external nature. And so I'm a big fan of making sure that as artists, we're at least have a healthy diet of abstraction in our practice.
I think we have Laura.
Dance film is sort of new to me, so I will say my experience. Dance film is important because it can shake up your world and because it allows bodies and spaces to tell their stories.
To the No Box Film team.
Oh, we're doing it too.
Yeah, girlfriend.
Okay. Dance film is important because it can allow us dancing outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
We missed you, Ananya. We need to hear
Oh my
your
gosh.
voice.
I will say that, you know, especially because I love emotional expressivity, and I feel dance film allows moments to capture, sort of bring close-ups to that kind of richness of emotional expressivity and small gesture and nuance. And I love that. And it also helps moments where how in our minds, our thoughts go from one thing to another, to another, to another, you know, the way in which it's not necessarily strung together on a thread. I love to see how dance film actually finds that juxtaposition. I love that.
Thank you, Ananya. I do want to mention before we go to Marthea, there's another another participant, audience member, Melina. She mentioned dance film is important because it expands my imagination. Marthea?
Dance film is important because it can open our minds and open our hearts. And just like Yejin said, it can help us say no to the box.
Yes, and I think dance film is important because it's connected me to you, and I can't wait to see who else it connects me to. So with that said, here at No Box, we're so happy to have had you here today, and we're so beyond excited that we were able to record this and we get to share it with our audience, so they have even a deeper understanding onto the films that they got to witness this last weekend and this upcoming week. So that's really exciting. And with that said, I'm going to hand it to Marthea, who's going to close us off.
Thank you, Reina, and really amazing job facilitating this conversation. I know we're in all different time zones, so it's either the beginning or the start of your week. So hopefully this was a nice way to come together with creatives across the world. We at No Box just want to say this festival this year is very important to us because it's our first year as a nonprofit organization. And we feel like because of that, it's the first year that we're able to provide all of you amazing creatives with honorariums and just with all of these things that we want to accomplish as an organization. And so we just want to thank you so much for trusting us with your creative work. We know how much time and energy goes behind all of that. And speaking from Dallas, it was just such an amazing and incredible weekend. And I cried probably like 10 times, and I tried to pretend I wasn't crying, but just to see the impact that your work is having on the community here, it's just so meaningful, especially I think after the pandemic. Well, we're still in the pandemic, but I think now that we're able to be in physical spaces together, just to actually witness the impact that art has on people, and then to hear the conversations from the audiences. We will be sharing some pictures, so it's not the actual moment of being at the festival, but hopefully you can get a sense from people's facial expressions on how the films impacted them. So we just want to thank you all so much again for sharing your work with us. And before I pass it to Yejin, we did send out through email the on-demand option. And this is new to us this year for the festival, but especially because we're in COVID times, we do really want to create opportunities for people to witness the amazing work that you're creating. So feel free to spread it far and wide. It will be open until the close of the festival on the 19th. So thank you, and I'll pass it to you, Yejin.
Thank you. So we start Korean screening this week, and I'm so excited. We share your beautiful artworks. We are also very excited at the festival. We also feel very sorry because audience say congratulations to us because we were there, but I think the directors, they should be there and then meet the audience. So without you guys, we can't make this festival, of course. So hopefully next year we can get together either in Dallas or Korea. We hope we can invite you guys so we can have this conversation in person. So thank you so much for sharing your beautiful work again.
That concludes our wonderful gathering today. And I call it a gathering because it was really nice to gather around a table, a Zoom table, and just have dinner with you all. And in that, I say what we were consuming as our food imaginatively was just all of everything that you had to offer today. So really, really thank you with that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful week. Thank you all. We'll keep you in touch with festival updates.